So welcome to the Node.js NodeAPI team meeting for June 3rd, 2022. We will start by asking if anybody has any announcements they'd like to share.
Nothing here.
Okay, if not, we will flip over to the standard agenda. I will share my screen if I can find the right window. There we go. So the first thing is drive to full coverage. I don't know if anybody has any updates on that this week.
Nothing here.
Okay, so actually, I'm just gonna open the window so I can see if somebody joins. Participant window. Okay, there we go. Attendees. Okay, so let's move on to the next one, which is stale issues to discuss. We can take a quick look in terms of the stale issues. So I think this landed, right? Did it?
Yeah, that landed.
Okay, so we should basically just say close this since it should be resolved, right? Do we need?
Right. I guess we can ask the OP if they can try again on
Right,
a
okay.
new version.
And maybe I should copy this link. Okay. Yeah, that would be good to close out. I think we can probably remove it from the stale issue list, right?
I think so.
I mean, in that there's no point in us looking at it. We can finish it off in the issue itself. Okay, so let's delete that one. This one.
Sorry, no progress this week.
Progress. Okay, yeah, no problem. Just as a reminder for us to not forget things. And I think that's it. So, okay, so we're doing pretty well on stale issues, which is great. Tracking issues of module ported. Nothing too new there. We can take a quick look at API. Okay, so nothing greatly up or down on that front. I haven't done anything on the debug testing, but still not bad there. So we can just flip over to issues that in the repos themselves. I don't know if there's any that people want to start out by highlighting.
There was one in Node add-on API, an issue that I was working on. It is the second one, segmentation.
This one, okay.
Yes. So this poster has an example that creates a lot of async progress workers. And I was able to replicate the issue, and I did it in a debug version of Node. And I get various different types of stack traces when it fails. And I really don't know how else to proceed from this.
So what's this? And what does the test do to, like, what does it do to recreate it? Is it just starting a whole bunch in parallel, or?
Yes, he creates a lot of async progress workers, but in his test, he does await for them to finish. So I'm really not sure why, because I mean, we do see in the stack trace, it has something to do with collecting, like the garbage collector is running, and then some finalizers are happening, but then eventually it breaks some debug checks. And it's 3 different types of stack traces that end up happening.
Right. So it would seem. Yeah, nothing has jumped, nothing like pops out in terms of those. But this is the finalized callback. Like there isn't even any Node API code on these stack traces, is there?
It seems to be happening sort of when, or at least with this one. Let me see. There's that's the first one. In the second one, in the second stack trace, it's sort of trying to construct a new thread safe function. And that seems to be failing. And that says debug check failed with the used nodes less than the K block size. I don't know what that means. And then in the third stack trace, it's also trying to construct a new thread safe function. And it has a debug check with the state of the handle not being free or something like that.
So what is the comment there? Is it somewhere above? Fail or miss? Okay, right. Use nodes.
But all of the crashes are in the global handles CC file. So
Right.
it all has to deal with handle creation or finalization, it looks like.
Could it be like a V8 issue? Something.
Maybe. I have no idea.
My guess would be that somehow the memory for the global handles is corrupted. So the question would be, is there something in the Node API code which is potentially corrupting code? Or is there something, I mean, there even could be something in the like the application code, right? Like not even the node code. You said you could recreate it? Could you recreate it with like a small test case, or is it still like the full?
I did not try making my own test case. No.
Okay.
I just used his library that he was trying to work on.
Could it be like V8 has some kind of maybe some reasonable limit on some resources, and then the same like there is some kind of 1 million of some units, and
right.
sitting in probably this scenario maybe never tested in V8 engine itself.
Right, like is that 1 million in a row, or is it 1 million outstanding async functions or something like that?
Let me see if I can open the test again.
Okay.
And let's see, make large zoom. Oh, wait, no, so it's in a, basically it's in a loop that runs this 1 million times. And in each loop iteration, he awaits on the progress worker to finish. So it looks like I think he creates a new one and then waits for it to finish its work. And he does that 1 million times.
Right. So if it's sequential, you would think it's not a resource issue
Right.
unless, how long when you ran it, how long did it take to run the million?
I mean, it's within a couple of seconds.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't too large, which is why I was able to, run it multiple times and then get
Right.
the different stack traces.
And I guess the other thing is even sequentially, you can get into the case where like if this requires finalization of objects and you're not putting pressure on the actual heap, but you're using more memory on the C side, that could still be, basically causing pressure.
Mhm.
Did you look at the memory usage?
I did, and I didn't see anything. Like I tried running with the trace GC V8 switch to
Yeah.
trace all the garbage collections, and everything looked okay.
Right.
And I can try making a sample, like try to make a smaller test case to see if it's something with their code or something with the implementation.
I think that would be handy. Like if we had a small test case that basically was mostly, just Node add-on API code that does something similar, but didn't do any other work. And if it recreates with that, then you can kind of we can rule out that there's some memory corruption or something like that going on somewhere else.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
The other thing is like, did you look at so you looked at GC memory? How about like the physical memory with something like top or?
I did not. I can also try that as well.
Yeah, that would be worth looking to, like, because, to see if it's, it's one of those things where like, whenever you're allocating native memory that's tied to the heap memory, the heap might not notice that there's memory being used and therefore never do the finalization that would let you collect the memory that you don't need on the native side. So it's just interesting to see if like maybe we're growing in native memory as opposed to heap memory or something.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, I think probably the next step is, something smaller. And if it recreates, then we have something much smaller in scope to kind of figure out.
All right. Yeah, I think I can do that.
And even, like global handles, it's an interesting. Well, yeah. I don't know. Do you know offhand how we use global handles?
No clue.
Yeah, okay.
I don't really know any of the V8 internals like that.
Right. So we're creating these persistence.
Right. I guess because when you create the thread safe function, you have to persist the function that is being utilized.
So it's possible somehow we're not freeing those, or even there's some limitation in terms of what we're using. But I think the smaller test case first to sort of, if we say like, okay, here's something we can just run ourselves and it doesn't really require any other code, then it's clear something's going on there.
Right. Okay. I can try that.
Yeah, looking at this kind of Coldstacks and type of errors, it almost feels like we're corrupting some kind of state of these global handles, which usually might happen if we try to access from multiple threads. I wonder if we have any possibility that we're touching their structures from non-domain thread, but maybe some different thread.
Yeah, I was trying to look at his code to find any of that, and I didn't see any of it, but maybe I overlooked something. Um, so I'll try doing the smaller test case, and I think that'll be a good starting point.
Yeah, sounds good. Any other ones you want to call out?
One thing that I noticed was that on our node add-on examples repository, because I had a couple of merges recently there. There's a CI failure for the, because if you hit the red X there next to my commit,
Right, okay.
it's on the build and deploy the website. So that's been failing for a couple of runs now. And I'm not, I guess it's doing something with GitHub Pages or on the Node API resource. I'm not exactly sure, but I just wanted to bring this up.
Right, is the problem this digital envelope routine's unsupported? Not quite sure what that means.
Yeah, and it's not like any of the code has been changed for whatever that pipeline that's running. It's whatever this build, this website pipeline, which is a Gatsby build, and then it runs the GH pages.
Right. Yeah, unfortunately, I think Jim was the one who knew the most about that, or the only one who knew anything about it, to be honest.
Gotcha.
It's good to call out, but I assume that means that the website is there. So if we looked at the website,
And then the link for the, yeah, it's this one.
that's this one. So this just isn't getting updated, right?
Right.
Okay.
But like, I guess that website doesn't really have changes to it unless you update the website folder in that repository.
Right.
So since there really haven't been any changes to the website, nothing is really majorly affected by these failures.
Right.
I just wanted to point that out though.
Yeah, no, it's good to know it, but it's not a, I think you're right. It's not a burning issue.
Mhm.
Okay, I see there's already an answer there. Otherwise, there doesn't look like anything too new, right? In there in terms of issues. PRs. Guess, Kevin, you had some suggestions here? No, you were suggested as a reviewer, that's all. Okay, well, I guess we just
Yeah, we can
good
take
to
a
get.
look at that offline, I think.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
I think otherwise nothing too new in there. Let's take a flip over to Node. It's interesting. JS. And I might as well just go to, okay, issues. Labels. Okay. And okay, that's both. That should be PRs and right. So anything. Fix module registration. So.
Yeah, I was surprised that my PR was actually picked up to backport to 16. and there was some issues there with
Right, okay. I see, this is the backport, right.
And
Is there a reason why we wouldn't want it in 16 or?
no, I don't know what's a policy, like what would typically node.js, what type of policy we have.
Unless there's a reason not to backport, things tend to flow back. Like almost everything gets flowed back to the current. So like, you know, if it went into main today, which is 19, it would flow into 18. And then it's kind of like, as it goes back further in the LTSs, but 16 is the sort of the main LTS now. It still flows in once it's sort of baked in the current.
Yeah, this one's probably good to have, I guess, because it's we kind of fixing module registration for MSVC.
Right. Yeah, and we didn't think it breaks anything. So.
Breaks, I don't think they're related to my change because it's some random tests.
Yeah, our CI is nowhere as stable as we would like, I'll say. So let's see.
At least I don't see this build break, which was originally reported. I think there is some kind of automated process or something like the developer puts a label to backport. So I fixed this issue, but the rest I'm not sure what I could do about it.
Right, I'm just quickly looking. We have. Yeah, so it's basically already tagged as a flaky test, the one that failed there, so. Okay, let's just go back. This one, right, okay. Okay, so that one's basically just ready to go, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, okay, I'm happy. So that'll just get, you know, I think, given that you fixed up things, that test will get, you know, people will rerun and it'll just flow. So, okay, so nothing probably to talk about on that one. Let's get back to the list. This one I know, I think that's the one you're waiting on us to all take a look, right?
No, this one is actually, I need to, I'm kind of working on integrating changes from a legend cast because they're pretty much touching the same functionality. So
sorry, it's this one we need to review, right? Yeah, okay. So
I just rebased it today morning and
okay.
Also kind of, I found that it was some missing NAPI seed decal in implementation. It's probably not required, but just for consistency.
Well, hopefully actually on maybe that's something while I'm traveling, I can take a look at.
And mostly about, I'm asking like all the different new names because I'm not good with names and yeah, we did several iterations then changed one way and another. So any kind of ideas, what better names we should use. So like definitely welcome.
Okay.
Is this 41377 the default call.js method? Would that be resolved by Legendicast's recent?
Right, I think that's the same one, isn't it, right? So that landed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, okay, so.
Yeah, that's the same poster of the issue in that we have in Node add-on API. It's the same poster.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah,
so
okay.
Hopefully they'll check both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think otherwise I don't see anything there's to discuss.
What is this this rename Node API to something less confusing, misleading?
Well, basically it's the complaint that Node API can be confused with like, well, it's an API for all of Node versus the add-on API. But, my personal take is, okay, we had a discussion, we put a lot of work in to change it.
Mhm.
Changing it again is not going to be helpful.
Right.
And, so I can kind of understand that if people had chimed in then, we might have said, okay, let's choose something different, but we chose something. I personally don't think that it's such a big deal. Like, I haven't seen people coming to me and say I'm confused, or I haven't seen reports. And so like, I'm not going to advocate for us to change. I did ask the originator if they were okay with it being closed, because since I didn't think it was going to happen, but they said no, so it's still there.
I see. Okay.
Right. It's like, at some point, maybe we'll close it, or at some point we'll find that, I could be completely wrong and it really is a big enough deal that we need to go through the whole process again. But
do they propose like like instead of just him saying whatever we have is bad, like do they propose something better?
I think, I can, where is it? Which one was that? A
little bit above, like 3 lines above. Okay. Next one.
Right, one. This one, yeah, right. Right.
Oh, it's been locked. Conversation has been locked. Because I was gonna go in and put a -1, but it's locked. So what's the point of us having the issue still open?
Yeah, so
That's a moderation link.
yeah, right. So, but I'm just like, maybe there was an issue that was deleted here. So it mentioned this, okay. Anyway, I could go take a look at that, but I'm kind of, yeah.
Right. I mean, I think we should just close the issue if no one can comment on it. And it's been around for,
Yeah,
almost a year now, over a year.
I would agree. It's one of those things where the effort to try and push it, it's not on the top of my list anyways.
Right.
I guess you could, is it, can you know, so you can't comment, is that?
I cannot.
Yeah, you can't comment, okay. And I guess Node core collaborators can probably still comment on it. But I can just say this, I could say this was discussed in the Node.js in the NodeAPI team meeting, NodeAPI team meeting today, and consensus was want will change at this point. Is that a fair comment?
I think so.
And then trot.
Well, even if you ask him to respond, he won't be able to because the issue is locked.
Well, Rich will be able to.
Ah, okay. Oh yeah, that's Trot. I thought that was the original poster. Okay, yeah. That's fine then.
The original poster was BB&B, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I think he's a collaborator too, and basically collaborators could comment.
Okay.
I guess the question like whatever I just saw in the original point that something I meant to ask like internally inside of node.js we have a bunch of different modules, and as a kind of any plans for us to change internal modules to using NodeAPI?
That, I mean,
what they're looking for.
we talked about that way back in the beginning, like when we were talking, but it was seen as a, you prove it out first, and then you might consider to use those methods internally. I'm not sure there's anything that would stop us from doing that now, other than it's not 100% coverage, so you couldn't do everything. And the other aspect would be like you'd have to show that the performance wasn't going to be degraded, because the internal bindings and stuff can be more direct.
But then I guess should be like something which will push us to improve perf and improve kind of APIs kind of surface.
Yeah, no, it's true. It just, I guess it would take somebody who's like, this is, who wants to champion doing that, to understand where it would make sense, where it wouldn't, try and it is a good question though. It's like, have we come far enough that now that's something we could say is a direction we should drive the product, like try and advocate for? Sort of through the next 10 stuff is like what's needed to make Node successful, and is this something that we could say, if we actually refactor this way, it's actually going to make our lives better enough to make it a strategic thing to do.
I know it's just general feeling about, like, it's interesting because it's something I sometimes when I'm developing some APIs and some products, and like I often see developers saying, "Oh, internally we'll use something, some internal better APIs, but for users we give this
right, yeah."
monster." And I was usually like kind of pushing the team, no, guys, let's use it internally. And then people kind of discover like, oh, this doesn't work, this doesn't perform, like we're missing this, we're missing that.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's definitely a good point, and definitely like it was discussed, but like it was a non-starter in the beginning, because it's like, oh, let's refactor all of our internal stuff to use something new that we haven't tried out. Wasn't very palatable. Now that it's actually been in place for years, it might be, but it's certainly a big enough thing that somebody would need to say, hey, I'm going to go and try and do this and see how it goes.
Maybe just
yeah, I agree with you. Like having everywhere where it made sense, we would basically that test it out in your own use is a good thing.
Yeah, because we want people to start to use this API safe API, but even internally inside of node.js, it's not being used that much. So it's also kind of also a matter of adoption. If I open today like YouTube and search like how I create module for node.js, I would not find anything about NodeAPI. I would find like how to use none. I would find how to use V8 API, but there's almost no videos. If you do specifically about NodeAPI query, you probably see something, but just ask some generic question, like a newbie question, like saying, well, I would like to have something to extend Node. And,
right, okay, but I just said like build Node.js add-on. The C++ add-ons talks about it right there. This building modern native add-ons is actually about an API.
Yeah, but like you search it from yourself and your Google trained.
Sure, yeah, maybe that's the problem, right? Like, so what is your search? Like, search on the same thing. What comes up for you?
build node.js add-on. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see that, because yeah, it could be like, but then that's like sort of like Google really makes it hard for you to figure out how to share stuff with other people, right?
So, yeah. Okay, build node.js add-on. Yeah, it talks about Node.js. Oh, actually, I'm actually searching on Bing. Okay, let's try Google.
Oh yeah, maybe you can share your screen. I'll stop sharing for a sec.
Okay. It was like build node. I don't know. Seems very similar. Okay, let me. How to share screen here? Okay.
There's like a share screen near the bottom, middle-ish.
Share.
Or you can share like a particular, just a browser window.
Sorry, kind of requires some. Okay, let me do it next time.
Sure, okay. But yeah, no, but that is interesting, like, you know, but because it's one thing we did spend some effort to, like, back in the earlier days, we did more effort on the promotion side of things. And but if that's still node add-on.
You could try doing a incognito window.
Oh yeah, okay, here, so I'll do that. I'll go back to sharing for
Well,
a
it
second.
requires me to kind of restart Zoom because
So I'm going to use a new incognito. So
okay.
node add-on. So I still get that documentation. Node add-on API.
I don't think we can see your window because you may
Oh.
have been sharing.
Yes, okay. Yeah.
No, what
Yeah,
happened,
okay,
like,
I gotta stop that share.
No, in my case, I required to restart Zoom because I didn't have permissions inside of Apple to share screens to Zoom before.
There, I think in my case, it's like the incognito you can't dock it in there, so.
Okay.
But I still got an incognito, like the RDoc, which is good. This one, which is Node add-on API. We've got add-on examples, which actually.
Yeah, I mentioned just YouTube. Like, if you go, for example, to YouTube
okay.
and technically on YouTube, then you kind of saying, I would like to say that. Node add-on. Like, I think it will not show you Node API. It will talk about none. It will talk about all these different previous add-on APIs.
Right. Okay.
That's what because what I'm seeing even new. There are a lot of new videos, and some of them developers still kind of teaching kind of others to use this old one.
Right. It's always, but yeah, I mean, maybe that's a good point, that what we need to, maybe we need more YouTube content.
Right. It will definitely can benefit.
Hi, I'm Jen, and today I'm going to talk about Node.js C++ app. So this add-on, according to Node.js,
17. It's probably still kind of old APIs.
I'm just. Yeah, 2017. Yeah, so. Because there's been some talks at some conferences, and maybe part of it is to try and promote those.
Yeah,
I don't know. Let's treat ourselves an issue.
And I think that because of this, all this newbie, kind of a lot of people who is teaching new Node.js kind of developers to create using different APIs, they doing some kind of disservice in some sense.
Yeah, I'm going to create an issue so we remember to. Okay, this would be better coverage. in YouTube.
Yeah, going back to this original issue with renaming NodeAPI, it's what actually what we can read about. We can also kind of learn from this issue, that it's maybe not so much about name, but actually about usage and widespread usage. Like, should we kind of promote it more inside of node.js? Should we promote outside the world a little bit more? It's like, I think that's one of the complaints in this issue was that Node.API is like NodeAPI is too generic, right? And kind of confuses people. Well, it's not exactly what it is.
Yeah, where am I? Oh, I just put the issue in the wrong place. Sorry, I'm gonna close this one.
We don't see your screen sharing.
Yeah, okay. I'm just creating an issue though, so I think let me just I can share anyway. Okay, share this one, but I meant to put it into ABI stable node. Better. Well, maybe Node, just Node API in YouTube. Okay, create that as a new issue and we can tag it on the agenda.
Could you edit it a little bit? Sorry, like you misspelled
which, yeah, edit. Okay, which
in middle, like
oh, right. No, where which, yeah, okay. Which, yeah. It's not like a witch is in a witch with a magic wand. Okay. Yeah, that one we could, I guess, like for me, I never want YouTube to show me how to do something. I shouldn't say never, very, very infrequently. I'd much rather have like a short document, like the two. I always figure it's like a 2-paragraph description will show me exactly what I want versus having to watch a 5-minute video. But I do know there's many people who are the exact opposite. So it makes sense to address all the audiences. So yeah, no, that's a good one. And we might either, look at what's out there or figure out if we should make some more and that kind of stuff. I think there weren't any other issues in the repo to look at. Anything else we should chat about this week?
I have nothing.
No, if not, I will see everybody in a couple weeks. And thanks again, Kevin, for agreeing to chair, and see you later.
All right. Have a good weekend.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.